The African savanna stretches endlessly beneath a sky painted in gold and fire, its grasses whispering secrets to the wind. Here, the air is thick with the scent of wild sage and sun-warmed earth, and every breath carries the pulse of life and the shadow of danger. This is a world where the horizon shimmers with heat, and the silence is broken only by the distant calls of birds and the soft rustle of unseen creatures. In this vast, untamed wilderness, a solitary figure emerges, an animal sculpted by the demands of survival. The cheetah, with its lithe frame and liquid movement, glides through the tall grass, every muscle tuned to the rhythm of the land. Its senses are alive, ears flicking at the faintest sound, nostrils flaring to catch the scent of prey or rival, eyes scanning the horizon for the slightest flicker of movement. The cheetah is a living paradox, an embodiment of both power and vulnerability. When it runs, it becomes a blur, a streak of gold and black that seems to defy the very laws of nature. Yet when it stops, the tension of survival is etched in every line of its body. The world around it is shrinking, the open plains that once promised freedom, now hemmed in by invisible boundaries. Once, the savannah teemed with cheetahs, over 100,000 strong, their presence woven into the very fabric of the land. Now, the silence grows heavier, the grasslands emptier as only a fraction remain. The cheetah's world is fading, its story written in the dust and the fading tracks left behind. Each day, the cheetah moves through a landscape that grows more uncertain. The grass is thinner, the shadows longer, and the safe places fewer. It is forced into the margins, pressed against the edges of what remains wild, its territory carved into ever smaller fragments. Here, the cheetah is not alone. The savannah is a battleground, and every day is a contest for survival. Lions, hyenas, and leopards prowl the same grass, their presence a constant threat. The cheetah, built for speed, not strength, must rely on its wits and agility, always alert, always ready to flee or fight for its life. The tension is unrelenting. Every hunt is a gamble, every meal a prize that must be defended. The cheetah's keen eyes catch the glint of a rival, its ears pick up the distant cackle of hyenas, and its heart pounds with the knowledge that a single misstep could mean starvation, or worse. For the cheetah, life is a delicate balance. The sun beats down mercilessly, sapping strength, while the grass offers both cover and concealment for danger. A mother cheetah, her coat dappled with sunlight, leads her cubs through the maze of grass, every sense straining to protect them from the unseen threats that lurk nearby. She is a hunter, a guardian, and a survivor. Her world is one of constant vigilance, where the wind carries both promise and peril. Through her eyes, the savannah is a place of breathtaking beauty and relentless challenge, a world where every day is a fight to endure. The cheetah's gaze is sharp, reflecting the vastness of her domain and the uncertainty of her future. She runs not just for herself, but for the fragile hope of her kind, a fleeting shadow across the grass, a living arrow vanishing into the dusk. In the vast, golden expanse of the savannah, a cheetah mother's journey begins in solitude. The tall grasses sway gently around her, concealing her from the world, but also isolating her in a realm where every sound and shadow could signal danger. This quiet, hidden start is the calm before a storm of challenges that will test her spirit and strength every single day. Mara, like all female cheetahs, faces the monumental task of motherhood entirely on her own. There is no coalition, no partner to share the burden, only her instincts and unwavering determination. After a gestation of nearly 3 months, Mara's body aches with anticipation. She searches tirelessly for a den, perhaps a rocky outcrop or a dense thicket where the shadows are deep and the air is thick with the scent of earth and grass. Here she will bring new life into a world that is both breathtakingly beautiful and brutally unforgiving. In the dim shelter of her chosen den, Mara welcomes her cubs, tiny, blind and fragile, their fur marked with faint silvery spots. She nuzzles them gently, her heart swelling with hope and fear in equal measure. Her first litter is a hopeful one. 6 small cubs, each a promise of the future. But Mara knows the odds are stacked against them. The Savannah is an unforgiving nursery. The wind, ever restless, carries the scent of her newborns far and wide, betraying their presence to any who might be searching. The first weeks are the most perilous. Mara's anxiety is constant. Her ears twitch at every rustle. Her eyes scan the horizon for threats. She curls her body protectively around her cubs, her muscles tense even in sleep. The cubs are blind, defenseless, and utterly dependent on her. Their tiny bodies press close for warmth and safety, unaware of the dangers that lurk just beyond the den's edge. For Mara, every day is a relentless cycle of hunting and hiding. Hunger gnaws at her, but she cannot afford to stray far. Each time she leaves, her heart pounds with worry. Will she return to find her cubs safe, or will the Savannah's predators have found them first? She glances back at her den, torn between the desperate need to feed and the overwhelming urge to protect. Every departure is a gamble, every return a moment of breathless hope. The Savannah is alive with eyes and ears. Predators, lions, hyenas are always listening, always watching, drawn by the faintest whiff of vulnerability. With their superior sense of smell, these hunters are an ever-present threat. Mara's heart races at every distant roar, every snap of a twig. Tragedy strikes early. One morning, Mara returns to find her den eerily silent, her heart sinking as she realizes what has happened. Despite her best efforts to conceal her cubs, the relentless predators have found them. She had tried to mask their scent, to hide them deep in the grass, but the Savannah gives up its secrets too easily. 3 of her 6 precious cubs are gone, devoured in the night. Mara mourns, her cries lost in the wind, a heart-wrenching loss, yet one that is all too common for cheetah mothers. With her surviving cubs, Mara becomes a nomad. Grief weighs heavily on her, but she cannot linger. The Savannah demands resilience. She cannot afford to stay in one place for too long. The memory of loss drives her onward, her every step a testament to her determination. A den that offers safety one day can become a death trap the next. Mara's vigilance never wavers. Every 2 days, she uproots her small family, seeking a new hideaway. A patch of long grass, a rocky crevice, anywhere that might offer a few more hours of safety. This constant movement is a crucial survival strategy. Mara's senses are always alert, her body tense, as she leads her cubs through the shifting landscape, always one step ahead of the relentless hunters. At dawn and dusk, when the light is soft and shadows long, Mara calls to her cubs with a unique bird-like chirp. The sound is gentle, yet urgent, a lifeline that keeps her family together as they traverse the dangerous plains. In rare moments of peace, Mara grooms and nurtures her cubs, her affection a brief respite from the constant tension. Her devotion is unwavering, her love fierce and protective. Her life is a delicate balance, hunting to feed her young, watching over them as they rest, always sacrificing her own comfort for their survival. Hunger, exhaustion, and fear are her constant companions. Each hunt is a test of her skill and endurance. She must succeed not only to feed herself, but to provide the milk and later the meat that will fuel her cubs' growth. Failure means hunger, and hunger means weakness, a risk she cannot afford. As her cubs grow, Mara becomes their teacher, showing them how to stalk, how to hide, how to survive. She shields them from danger, her body and mind always on high alert, knowing that she is their only line of defense. Through loss and hardship, Mara's resilience shines. Her eyes, fixed on the horizon, reflect both the pain of the past and the hope for the future. In the face of overwhelming odds, her unbreakable will endures, a mother's love, fierce and undaunted, determined to see her lineage continue in the wild heart of the Savannah. The cheetah is nature's ultimate running machine, a living testament to evolutionary specialization for speed. Its entire body is a masterpiece of anatomical engineering, meticulously adapted for explosive acceleration and agility. The cheetah's musculature is highly specialized. Its forelimbs and hindlimbs are packed with fast-twitch muscle fibers, which contract rapidly to generate the immense power needed for sudden bursts of speed. The large, elongated muscles along its spine act like a spring, flexing and extending with each stride, allowing the cheetah's body to stretch and contract in a fluid whip-like motion. Its remarkably lightweight and slender frame is supported by a flexible backbone composed of elongated vertebrae that function almost like a bow, storing and releasing kinetic energy with every leap. Unlike other big cats, the cheetah's small, aerodynamically shaped head and narrow ribcage reduce drag, minimizing air resistance as it slices through the savanna. Its limbs are long and slender, with elongated radius and tibia bones, maximizing stride length. The cheetah's hips and shoulders are loosely attached, allowing for an extraordinary range of motion and enabling the animal to extend its legs far forward and backward with each stride. At full speed, the cheetah can cover 7 to 8 meters in a single stride, completing up to 4 strides per second, a feat unmatched in the animal kingdom. This extraordinary athlete can accelerate from 0 to 70 kilometers per hour in just 2 seconds, thanks to the explosive power generated by its muscular limbs and flexible spine. Within another second, it can reach 90 kilometers per hour, and in a short, intense burst, it can achieve a top speed of up to 110 kilometers per hour. This velocity is possible only because of the cheetah's unique skeletal and muscular adaptations, which work in perfect harmony. To maintain stability at such high speeds, the cheetah relies on 2 crucial adaptations. Its long, muscular tail acts as a dynamic counterbalance, functioning like a rudder to steer and stabilize the body during rapid, high-speed turns. The tail's vertebrae are especially robust and flexible, allowing for precise adjustments mid-chase. The cheetah's semi-retractable claws, unlike the fully retractable claws of other cats, remain exposed, providing constant traction, much like the spikes on a sprinter's shoes. Its paw pads are hard and ridged, further enhancing grip on the ground. The engine that powers this speed is a highly specialized respiratory and circulatory system. The cheetah's chest cavity is deep, housing an enlarged heart and lungs that can rapidly deliver oxygen to the working muscles. Its nostrils and sinuses are enlarged, allowing for maximum airflow during a sprint. The trachea is wide and short, minimizing resistance and enabling quick, efficient breathing. The cheetah's heart, proportionally larger than that of other big cats, works in tandem with oversized adrenal glands to pump oxygen-rich blood at an astonishing rate, fueling the muscles for those critical seconds of pursuit. However, this system comes with a cost. The cheetah's rapid muscle contractions and intense exertion generate tremendous heat, causing its body temperature to soar. After a sprint lasting just 20 seconds, the cheetah is at risk of overheating and must rest, panting heavily to dissipate excess heat. Recovery can take up to 20 minutes, during which the cheetah is physically drained and highly vulnerable. This period of exhaustion leaves the cheetah exposed to threats, unable to defend itself or its hard-won prey. As it pants to cool down, the cheetah's specialized body reveals its greatest vulnerability. Its reliance on speed comes at the expense of endurance and strength. Built for the chase, not for confrontation, the cheetah's lightweight skeleton and delicate musculature are no match for the brute force of larger predators. It lacks the massive jaw muscles and robust bone structure of lions and leopards, making it ill-suited for direct combat. Its teeth are relatively small, and its jaws are weak, a necessary trade-off for the expanded nasal passages and lightweight skull that facilitate rapid breathing. The cheetah is the ultimate sprinter, a marvel of anatomical adaptation, but this specialization is both its greatest strength and its most profound weakness in the unforgiving world of the Savannah. For Mara, every hunt is a high-stakes endeavor, a delicate dance of survival where every move must be calculated. Precision, patience, and timing are not just important, they are the difference between life and death. A successful hunt means nourishment for her and her cubs. Failure brings hunger and the risk of exhaustion. Each attempt is a gamble with precious energy. Mara begins her hunt in the bright hours of the day, relying on her keen eyesight to scan the vast savanna for movement. She is a diurnal hunter, her senses sharpest under the sun. From a high vantage point, perhaps a termite mound or a low branch, she surveys the herds. Her gaze is unwavering, searching for any sign of weakness or separation among the grazing animals. Her eyes lock onto the Thompson's gazelle, her favored prey. These antelopes are nearly as swift as she is, making them a formidable challenge. Mara waits, watching for a gazelle that strays from the safety of the herd. The moment she spots one slightly isolated, her body tenses, and the hunt truly begins. She lowers herself into the grass, every muscle taut. The stalk is a test of nerves, requiring her to move with painstaking slowness, inch by inch, never breaking cover. Using every bit of cover, tall grass, scattered bushes, and the gentle dips in the terrain, Mara edges closer. Her body is nearly invisible, blending seamlessly with the landscape. Her spotted coat is her greatest ally, breaking up her outline in the dappled light. She glides forward, barely disturbing the grass. Mara pauses, her body coiled like a spring. She is now within striking distance, every sense focused on her target. She must close the gap to within 50 meters. Any closer, and the risk of being seen increases. Any farther, and the chase will be too long. Suddenly, a hoof stamps, an ear flicks. The gazelle senses danger. If Mara is spotted now, the gazelle will bolt, and the hunt will end before it truly begins. But Mara is patient. She waits for the perfect moment, then explodes from her hiding place in a blur of speed. The chase is a spectacle of raw power and agility. Mara accelerates with astonishing force, her body built for this very moment. Her legs stretch and contract in rapid succession, pounding the earth as she closes the distance in mere seconds. The gazelle zigzags, twisting and turning in a desperate bid to escape. Mara matches every move, anticipating each swerve. The goal is not just to outrun, but to outmaneuver. Mara aims to force the gazelle off balance, to exploit a single misstep. As she draws alongside, Mara lashes out with a swift swipe of her paw, aiming to trip the gazelle and send it tumbling. The chase ends in a heartbeat. Mara pins her prey, her sides heaving from the exertion. She must act quickly. Her body cannot sustain this pace for long. With the gazelle down, Mara wastes no time. The final act must be swift and precise. Unlike lions, cheetahs lack the jaw strength to crush bone. Instead, Mara must suffocate her prey. She clamps her jaws around the gazelle's throat, applying relentless pressure to cut off its air supply. The struggle is silent, but intense. Mara holds on, her grip unwavering until the gazelle's movements cease. All the while, she scans the horizon, ears twitching for any sign of danger. The scent of blood is a beacon for other predators. Mara knows she has only moments before hyenas or lions arrive. Every hunt is a race, not just against her prey, but against the ever-present threat of losing her hard-won meal. In the complex hierarchy of the African savanna, the cheetah is a lightweight contender, surrounded by heavyweight champions. Despite its incredible speed, it is not an apex predator. Mara lives in constant fear of larger, more powerful carnivores that dominate the landscape. Lions and spotted hyenas are her greatest adversaries. These animals are not just competitors for food, they are a direct threat to her life and the lives of her cubs. A single lioness can weigh over 130 kilograms, more than 3 times the weight of a 40-kilogram cheetah like Mara. In any direct confrontation, she stands no chance. The greatest risk for a cheetah is having its hard-earned meal stolen, an event known as kleptoparasitism. This happens with heartbreaking frequency. After the immense effort of a hunt and the crucial recovery period that follows, Mara must eat quickly. However, the signs of a successful kill, the panicked flight of a herd, the gasps of the dying prey, and the gathering of vultures overhead act as a dinner bell for the entire savannah. Often, just as she and her cubs begin to feed, a hulking lioness or a clan of whooping hyenas will appear on the horizon, drawn by the promise of an easy meal. Mara has no choice but to surrender her prize. To fight would mean certain injury or death. She once brought down a young wildebeest, a substantial meal that would have fed her family for days. It was a difficult and draining hunt, but before she could even take more than a few bites, a large lioness approached with menacing intent. Mara was forced to abandon her kill, leading her hungry cubs away to safety, while the lioness claimed the feast for herself. This constant theft of food means a cheetah must hunt far more often than other predators, expending precious energy for a reward that is never guaranteed. The danger is not limited to lions and hyenas. Leopards, baboons, and even large eagles pose a threat, especially to young cubs. The world for Mara's offspring is fraught with peril at every turn. They are a potential meal for a host of other animals. Even herbivores can be dangerous. On one tragic day, while moving her family across the plains, Mara and her cubs stumbled upon a herd of buffalo. Feeling threatened by the cheetah's presence, the massive animals charged. In the ensuing chaos and panic, one of her 8-month-old cubs was trampled to death, a brutal reminder that danger in the savannah can come from any direction. Raising the next generation is Mara's most important duty, and the lessons she imparts are critical for her cubs' futures. From a young age, the cubs learn by watching their mother's every move. They observe her patient stalking, her explosive chases, and her precise killing technique. But, observation is not enough. They need hands-on practice. When the cubs are just a few months old, Mara begins their formal training. She starts by bringing small, live prey back to them, such as a gazelle fawn or a hare. This allows the cubs to practice their stalking and pouncing skills on a manageable target in a relatively safe environment. These early lessons can appear, clumsy and chaotic. The cubs, full of playful energy, often treat the live prey more like a toy than a meal. They might bat at it, chase it in circles, or lose it in the grass, forcing Mara to intervene and recapture it. Through this process, they slowly begin to hone their instincts. Mara teaches them the importance of the killing bite, demonstrating how to apply the suffocating grip to the throat. She is patient but firm, guiding them toward the deadly efficiency they will need to survive on their own. Each lesson is a vital step toward their eventual independence. As the cubs grow older and stronger, Mara elevates their training. She allows them to join her on hunts, letting them observe the entire process from a closer perspective. At first, their youthful exuberance can be a hindrance, as they might break cover too early and scare the prey away. But with each failed attempt, they learn the value of stealth and patience. Eventually, Mara will allow them to participate in the chase itself, encouraging them to help trip the prey and secure the kill. This cooperative hunting is essential practice, especially for male cubs, who will often form lifelong coalitions with their brothers. Beyond the hunt, Mara teaches her cubs the subtle language of survival. She teaches them which animals to fear and which to avoid. They learn to recognize the low growl of a lion and the whooping call of a hyena as signals of imminent danger. They learn to scan the horizon constantly, to use the wind to their advantage, and to eat quickly and nervously at a kill site. These are the unwritten rules of the savannah, a complex web of knowledge passed down from one generation to the next. For Mara's 2 surviving daughters, these lessons are their only inheritance, the tools they will carry with them when they finally face the world alone. Mistakes are part of the learning process. Each error teaches the cubs to adapt and refine their techniques. They learn to adapt to different terrains, whether it's the open plains, rocky outcrops, or wooded areas. Instinct plays a crucial role, guiding them in ways that are deeply ingrained in their DNA. With each passing day, The cubs grow more confident, their instincts sharpened, and their skills honed for the challenges ahead. The bond between a cheetah mother and her cubs is strong, woven from months of shared struggle and gentle guidance. Yet, in the wild, even the closest ties must eventually be broken. The time for independence inevitably arrives, and for Mara's daughters it came far sooner than they expected. Normally, a cheetah mother remains with her cubs until they are about 18 months old, teaching them the subtle art of stalking, the patience of waiting, and the explosive power of the chase. By then, the young cheetahs have honed their skills under her watchful eye. But Mara, worn thin by the relentless demands of survival, was forced to make a heart-wrenching decision. She left her 2 daughters when they were only 14 months old, 4 months earlier than nature intended. The sisters, still clumsy and unsure, suddenly found themselves alone. One morning, Mara simply walked away, her silhouette fading into the golden grass. The sisters waited, calling softly, but their mother never returned. The world, once familiar, now seemed vast and unforgiving. Alone, the sisters faced a daunting struggle. Every shadow became a threat, every sound a warning. Their bond, once a source of comfort, was now their only shield against the unknown. Their first hunts were awkward and uncoordinated. They crept through the grass, but their movements were noisy, their timing off. Prey slipped away with ease, leaving the sisters hungry and frustrated. Again and again they chased after antelope and hares, only to come up empty. Each failure weighed heavily, but with every attempt they learned how to move as one, how to anticipate each other's actions, how to mask their presence in the wind. They lacked their mother's precision and patience, often launching attacks from too far away or failing to isolate a target. But slowly their instincts sharpened and their teamwork began to improve. Hunger became a constant companion, gnawing at their bellies and driving them onward. The sisters grew lean, their bodies adapting to the harsh reality of life without a provider. Danger was never far. A troop of aggressive baboons chased them from a promising hunting ground, their shrieks echoing across the plains. Later, a clan of opportunistic hyenas scattered the sisters, forcing them to flee for their lives. Without their mother's protection, every encounter with predators was a lesson in fear and survival. Driven by desperation, the sisters ventured into unfamiliar territory, their paws carrying them into landscapes they had never seen. They wandered into a swampy, marsh-like area, a place where the ground was soft and waterlogged, sapping their strength and robbing them of their greatest weapon, speed. Each step was a struggle, their slender legs sinking into the mud. The open chase, their signature move, was impossible here. Yet in this challenging environment, the sisters found a new opportunity. The marsh was home to reedbucks, antelope perfectly adapted to the wetlands. The reedbucks were wary and swift, but the thick reeds offered cover for a different kind of hunt. The sisters learned to move silently through the reeds, relying on patience and ambush rather than speed. Each failed attempt taught them something new, how to freeze at the right moment, how to read the subtle signals of their prey. They practiced waiting, blending into the shadows and striking with sudden, coordinated bursts. It was a difficult adjustment, but their persistence was unwavering. Day after day, the sisters grew stronger and more determined. Their bond deepened, forged by hardship and shared purpose. At last, after countless failures, their efforts paid off. Working together, they managed to bring down a reedbuck in the marsh, their first successful hunt as an independent pair. The moment was triumphant. The sisters stood over their prize, their eyes bright with pride and relief. For the first time, they tasted the fruits of their own labor, but the wild is never generous for long. As they celebrated, a sudden noise in the reeds brought them to alert. 2 hyenas emerged, drawn by the sounds and scent of the kill. Confident and powerful, they strode toward the sisters, intent on claiming the prize. Outmatched and exhausted, the young cheetahs had no choice but to retreat, watching as their hard-won meal was stolen before their eyes. It was a harsh but vital lesson in the brutal reality of their new life, a life of constant struggle, fleeting triumphs, and the unbreakable bond between two sisters determined to survive against all odds. In the grand family of African cats, the cheetah holds a unique and somewhat distant place. But it is not alone. Its kin, both close and distant, share the landscape, each with their own adaptations and roles. While the cheetah is often confused with the leopard by casual observers, it is also related, though more distantly, to other spotted cats of Africa, such as the serval and the caracol. Each of these felines has evolved to fill a different ecological niche. The most obvious distinction among these cats is in their coats. The cheetah's simple, solid black spots differ from the leopard's rosettes, the serval's bold spots and stripes, and the caracol's plain golden coat with striking black ear tufts. These patterns are not just for show, they help each cat blend into its preferred habitat, whether it's the open plains, dense bush, or tall grass. The cheetah's face is marked by its famous black tear lines, which are absent in its kin. The serval's oversized ears are adapted for detecting the faintest sounds of prey, while the caracol's long, tufted ears are used for communication and camouflage. Their physical builds and abilities are also worlds apart, reflecting their different evolutionary paths. The cheetah is built for speed, the serval for leaping, the caracol for powerful jumps and stealth, and the leopard for strength and climbing. The leopard is a true big cat, a member of the Panthera genus along with lions, tigers, and jaguars. The cheetah, serval, and caracol belong to different branches of the feline family tree, each with their own unique hunting strategies. The leopard is powerfully built, with immense strength in its shoulders and neck. The serval's long legs allow it to see above the grass and leap high, while the caracol's muscular hindquarters give it explosive jumping power. The leopard's claws are fully retractable, keeping them sharp for climbing. The serval and caracol also have retractable claws, aiding them in catching and holding onto their prey. While the leopard can hoist a carcass heavier than itself high into the branches of a tree, the serval and caracol rely on smaller prey which they consume quickly or carry to cover. The cheetah, belonging to its own genus, Echinonyx, is built for speed, not strength. The serval and caracol are agile and quick, but none can match the cheetah's acceleration and top speed. Unlike the leopard, the cheetah cannot climb trees with the same agility, and it certainly cannot carry its prey to safety. The serval and caracol may climb low branches or rocks, but they too are mostly creatures of the ground. Another fascinating difference lies in their vocalizations. The cheetah, serval, and caracol each have their own unique sounds, from chirps and purrs to growls and hisses. The cheetah is the only one of Africa's big cats that cannot roar. The serval and caracol also lack the ability to roar, instead producing a range of other vocalizations. The anatomical structures in the cheetah's throat that allow for roaring in lions and leopards are instead adapted to produce a very different sound. The serval and caracol, too, have specialized vocal cords for their own calls. The cheetah can purr, and it does so with incredible power. The serval and caracol also purr, especially when content or communicating with their young. A cheetah's purr is 10 times louder than that of a domestic cat and can be heard from up to 40 meters away. The serval's and caracol's calls, though quieter, are equally important for communication. The cheetah communicates with a variety of sounds, including the distinctive high-pitched chirp it uses to call its cubs, a sound more akin to a bird than a cat. The serval and caracol also use high-pitched calls to keep in touch with their young. These differences highlight the cheetah's specialized niche in the ecosystem, but also the unique roles of its kin. The serval thrives in wetlands and tall grass, hunting rodents and birds, while the caracol prefers dry scrub and rocky outcrops, preying on birds and small mammals. The cheetah is not a brute force predator like the lion or a stealthy, powerful ambusher like the leopard. The serval and caracal, meanwhile, are masters of precision and agility, each excelling in their chosen habitats. The cheetah is a creature of the open plains, a specialist that has traded strength for unparalleled speed. The serval and caracal, though not as fast, are equally specialized for their own environments. This specialization has allowed each of these cats to thrive in a specific role, but it also makes them vulnerable to changes in their habitats. While the leopard can survive in a wide range of habitats, from dense forests to urban fringes, the cheetah, serval and caracal are more closely tied to the open grasslands, wetlands and scrublands that are now disappearing so rapidly. As these landscapes vanish, the unique ways of life of these remarkable cats become ever more difficult to sustain. The story of Mara and her daughters is not just a tale of survival, but a poignant reflection of a vanishing world. Each pawprint they leave behind is a whisper of a legacy that stretches back through the ages, a living memory of the wild heart of Africa. Yet, these footprints are growing fainter with every passing season. The cheetah, once a symbol of boundless speed and freedom, now finds its world shrinking. The open plains that once echoed with their sprints are being swallowed by the relentless march of human progress. The grasslands are fractured, the silence broken by the distant hum of machines, and the cheetah's domain is carved into ever smaller fragments. In this new landscape, Mara and her kind are forced to run not just for food, but for their very existence. The elegant sprint that once defined the cheetah's legacy has become a desperate dash against extinction. The threats are many: encroaching farmland, the looming presence of fences, and the constant shadow of more powerful predators. The struggle is most visible in the eyes of the mothers, like Mara, who must shield their cubs from dangers at every turn. The tall grass that once offered sanctuary now hides peril, and the odds of a cub reaching adulthood are heartbreakingly slim. Each lost cub is a story that will never be told, a future that slips quietly into the dusk. Yet, even as their numbers dwindle, the spirit of the cheetah endures. In the golden light of dawn, a mother's gentle nudge, a cub's tentative step, and the silent grace of a lone sprinter remind us of what is at stake. The cheetah's presence is woven into the tapestry of the Savannah, a vital thread in the fabric of life. Their legacy is not just in their speed, but in the balance they bring to their world, the way they shape the herds, the way their existence ripples through the ecosystem. To lose them would be to unravel a part of the wild that can never be replaced. But hope remains, fragile yet persistent. In the quiet moments as the sun sets and the cheetah's silhouette graces the horizon, there is a promise that their story is not yet finished. The wild still holds its breath, waiting to see if we will answer the call. The fading footprints of the cheetah are a plea for compassion, for action, and for remembrance. If we choose to protect the wild spaces they call home, if we honor their legacy and fight for their future, then perhaps, just perhaps, the breath of the cheetah will not fade into silence, but will echo on the wind for generations to come. Gap 2s. As dawn breaks over the savannah, a new chapter quietly unfolds beneath the golden grass. Mara's cubs, eyes wide with wonder, take their first hesitant steps into the wild world beyond their den. Each movement is a blend of uncertainty and boundless curiosity. A tiny paw pressing into soft earth, a flickering tail tracing the air. The cubs stumble, tumble, and rise again. They chase after fluttering insects, pounce on swaying shadows, and wrestle with each other in playful mock battles that echo the instincts of their ancestors. Their playful chirps fill the morning air, a fragile melody against the vast silence of the plains. But the savannah, for all its beauty, is a place where every moment is edged with danger. The tall grass that cradles their games also hides silent threats, predators that watch and wait, and the ever-present risk of separation from their mother. Mara's watchful eyes never rest. Each playful leap is measured against the dangers lurking just out of sight. Still, it is in these moments of exploration and play that the cubs learn the ways of the wild. Every misstep, every triumphant pounce becomes a lesson in survival. The world is new, but the challenges are ancient. The cubs' journey is just beginning, filled with both promise and peril. In their innocence, they embody hope, a testament to the resilience of life and the delicate balance that sustains it. Their first steps are more than a rite of passage. They are the heartbeat of the Savannah, a reminder that even as old footprints fade, new stories are always being written in the wild. Beneath the endless sky, the Savannah is alive with secrets, most of them spoken not in words but in whispers and calls that carry on the wind. For cheetahs, sound is a vital thread in the tapestry of survival. Unlike the mighty roars of lions or the deep growls of leopards, the cheetah's voice is subtle, almost delicate, yet every note is laden with meaning. A mother cheetah, like Mara, will chirp softly to her cubs, a high-pitched call that cuts through the tall grass, guiding them back to safety. Each chirp is unique, a signature only her young can truly recognize. When danger looms, Mara's tone shifts, a sharp hiss or a low growl, warning her cubs to freeze or scatter. Among siblings, communication is a game and a lesson. The cubs mew and purr, their tiny voices weaving through the grass as they play. A playful yelp signals surprise, while a persistent whine is a plea for attention or reassurance. In moments of triumph or frustration, they utter staccato barks, miniature echoes of the adults they will become. Even adult cheetahs rely on sound to navigate their world. A lone male, patrolling his territory, may emit a series of yowls, carrying across the plains to warn rivals and attract mates. These calls are rarely heard by human ears, but for other cheetahs, each sound is a message, a boundary, drawn in the vastness of the wild. Yet cheetah communication is not limited to their voices. A flick of the tail, an arched back, the subtle flattening of ears. Each gesture is a signal, silent but understood. In the Savannah's shifting silence, every sound and sign is a thread of connection, binding mothers to cubs, siblings to each other, and solitary hunters to the world around them. In this world of whispers and signals, the cheetah's language is a quiet symphony, fragile, essential, and endlessly expressive. It is through these voices in the grass that the story of the Savannah continues, told in every chirp, purr, and silent glance beneath the African sun. As the sun sinks beneath the horizon and the Savannah cools, a different world awakens, a world painted in silver and shadow. For cheetahs, the night is both refuge and risk. Their day belongs to the hunt, but the darkness brings new challenges, and the rules of survival shift with the coming of the moon. Cheetahs are built for daylight, their keen vision tuned to the golden hours of morning and dusk, but nighttime dulls their greatest weapon sight. In the inky dark, Mara's eyes widen, pupils stretching to gather every scrap of light. She moves with caution, her steps nearly soundless on the soft earth. Every sense sharpens, her nose tests the breeze for the scent of danger, and her ears swivel, catching the faintest rustle or distant call. The Savannah at night is alive with movement. Lions prowl, their roars echoing through the cool air. Hyenas cackle and patrol, emboldened by darkness. Even the stealthy leopards emerge, silent and unseen. For cheetahs, these nocturnal hunters are more than rivals. They are threats. Mara gathers her cubs, guiding them to a hidden hollow or a patch of dense grass, where they huddle close and remain still. Here, silence is their shield. Yet the night is not only a time for fear. In the hush between dangers, cheetahs find moments of peace. The cubs nestle against their mother, lulled by the distant chorus of frogs and insects. The stars wheel overhead, casting a pale glow on their spotted coats. Mara listens, always alert, always wary, but she also rests, her breath slow and steady beneath the vast, watchful sky. For cheetahs, the night is a test, a time of waiting, listening, and learning. Each dawn that follows is a victory, a chance to run, to hunt, to live another day. In the world of shadows and moonlight, every quiet hour is a triumph of resilience, a testament to the delicate balance of life on the savannah. Across the endless plains, cheetahs are not alone in their quest for survival. The savannah is a battleground of silent wars and uneasy truces, where every predator must carve its place among rivals. For Mara and her kin, the greatest threats are not always hunger or thirst, but the presence of competitors, lions, hyenas, and leopards, each with their own claim to the land. Lions, the undisputed monarchs of the grasslands, patrol in powerful prides. Their sheer strength and numbers make them a formidable force. When a cheetah brings down a gazelle, the distant rumble of a lion's roar is a warning. Mara knows she must eat quickly, her meal always at risk of being stolen by these apex predators. A single lioness can chase her off with ease, while a pride may not even notice the scattered remains. Hyenas, cunning and relentless, are masters of opportunity. Their laughter echoes across the night, a signal to all that danger is near. Unlike lions, hyenas hunt in packs, using teamwork and endurance to wear down their prey. But they are also skilled thieves. Mara has learned to scan the horizon for their dark shapes, knowing that even a single hyena can mean trouble. If outnumbered, she abandons her catch, choosing safety over conflict. Leopards, solitary and secretive, move like shadows through the undergrowth. They hunt by stealth and often drag their kills into trees, out of reach from scavengers. For cheetahs, leopards are both rivals and threats, capable of ambush, especially to vulnerable cubs. Mara teaches her young to avoid the tangled thickets where leopards might lurk, always respecting the boundaries that keep them safe. Each encounter is a lesson in adaptation. Cheetahs rely on speed and vigilance, often hunting at times and in places where their rivals are less active. They use open spaces to their advantage, avoiding the dense brush favored by leopards and the waterholes frequented by lions and hyenas. Survival is a game of awareness and timing, of knowing when to risk and when to retreat. In this intricate web of competition, every predator shapes the lives of the others. For Mara, every day is a negotiation between hunger and safety, between boldness and caution. The cheetah's story is not just one of speed, but of strategy, resilience, and coexistence in a world where every rival is a reminder. On the savannah, only the most adaptable endure. In the vast tapestry of the savannah, every creature has a role, a thread woven into the fabric of life. The cheetah, slender and swift, is more than just a hunter, it is a balance keeper. By chasing the fleetest gazelles and impalas, cheetahs ensure that only the healthiest and strongest survive, keeping prey populations robust and disease in check. Their presence ripples outward, shaping the behaviors of herds and the patterns of the land itself. Without cheetahs, the delicate balance would falter. Grazers might overrun the grasslands, gnawing the earth bare and leaving little for others. The predator's absence would echo through the food chain, shifting the destinies of countless lives. The cheetah's silent pursuit is a quiet stewardship, a dance that maintains harmony in a world of constant change. Yet the cheetah's own future hangs by a thread. With numbers dwindling and habitats shrinking, their role as guardians of balance grows ever more precarious. The savannah's chorus would lose one of its most vital voices, and the landscape itself would change. To protect the cheetah is to protect the savannah, to honor the ancient pact between predator and prey, and to preserve the wild heart of this world. For as long as the cheetah's shadow glides across the grass, the circle of life continues unbroken, and the story of the savannah endures.